Hello, everyone. Welcome to the SourceAbled LinkedIn Career Chat session. I'm Roshaunda Green, Account Manager for Diversity and Inclusion at Wrangham, where I work on the SourceAbled team, and I am your host. So today's topic is interview questions, and I'll be sharing some recommended responses. So let's get right into it. Let me tell you a little bit about SourceAbled. So at SourceAbled, we focus on attracting qualified candidates with autism, neurodivergence, and disabilities with clients who have autism at work programs or provide accommodations to help these candidates succeed. So if you fit in that category, or if you know someone who can benefit from this information, please encourage them to go to sourceable.com, set up your candidate profile, and start applying for jobs today. And if you are a support or service provider, set up your corporate account and start sending us some great candidates, because we definitely have some great jobs waiting for them. Okay. And I wanted to share with you the SourceAbled resume sweepstakes. So in order to be entered into the contest, all you have to do is set up your SourceAbled candidate profile, upload your resume, and follow SourceAbled on all of our social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And we'll choose winners to receive some great prizes. We've already had a lot of winners, so I encourage you to set up your profile so that you can be chosen from our selection of winners. Okay, and then we have some great prizes. We have a SourceAbled screen cover, we have a wine aerator, and we have a cool SourceAbled cup. So if you want to win some of those prizes, you know what to do. Set up your candidate profile and follow us on all our social media platforms. So let's get right into the interview questions and some recommended responses. This is where it gets really tricky, right? Because everything, I say this all the time during your interview process, everything that you say and do gets you closer to becoming an employee or further away from becoming an employee. So during the interview process, you have to be very strategic and focused and make sure that you understand why they're asking you certain questions and the best way to answer it and what they're looking for. So if you're a SourceAbled candidate with autism, neurodivergence, and disabilities, and you have a career or a job coach with you or a caregiver that can help you practice these interview questions so that you feel comfortable, confident, and really ready to go and conquer the interview. I don't just say just attend the interview or participate. I want you to conquer these interviews and do a great job so that you feel very comfortable that you gave 100%. But in order to do that, we have to properly prepare. Okay. So the number one question that they'll ask immediately for every interview at every level, entry, mid level, or executive, tell me about yourself. Now, this is where you want to be very careful that you're not disclosing too much personal information, but you can really use this opportunity to incorporate your professional brand. And I would definitely say if you're a candidate with autism, neurodivergence, and disabilities, this is a great way for you to share how you can self identify and show the strengths in your unique abilities. Because once your hiring manager knows everything that you're bringing to the table, it will definitely make you an asset, right? You want to point out the strengths in your unique abilities. You want to allow those unique abilities to shine and to help you to stand out as a unique candidate. And this is the time to do that in a very strategic manner. So when you're answering this question, you do want to incorporate information about yourself on a very high professional level. Like I said, when you are self identifying and self disclosing your unique abilities, then you're speaking to those strengths in those unique abilities. You may be a candidate with autism and you have laser focus and you're detail oriented and you have a high quality of execution in the tasks that you provide in that role. And you really want to speak to how your autism, neurodivergence, and disabilities is a great strength and a unique ability that will really bring good results and how you can execute at a really high level, right? So be sure to learn how to tell your story and strategically navigate through that question in a way that you feel comfortable and confident, and that you're showing what you bring, what you would bring to a company if they hired you, right? So definitely practice that question. Get comfortable in your own skin. Get confident in your storytelling, and find a strategic way to really highlight your unique abilities. And another question that they will ask all the time, why do you want this job? Right? Because they got a lot of resumes, they're interviewing a lot of candidates, but what makes you the perfect candidate for this particular job, right? And this comes from really understanding the role. And you cannot, when I say you cannot do enough research to prepare yourself for an interview. I literally had an interview years ago where I showed up early and I was in the waiting room and I was literally on my phone on Twitter because as soon as I apply for a job, I start following that company on all their social media platforms immediately. And I start liking, sharing, and commenting on their posts trying to interact as much as I can with the people at the company so that when I show up, that I've interviewed before the interview. I can't say that enough. So I'm sitting on Twitter, and they had just my interview was probably at 2 o'clock. I showed up around 1:30, 1:45, and I was sitting in the waiting room, and I just saw that they posted some great initiative that they launched that aligned with the department and the role that I was interviewing for. So I already had my interview questions ready, but I added that question about that initiative that they launched from their social media platform. They were sharing it. And I just asked, a question. I just read that you guys did XYZ. And I noticed that this directly aligns with the department I'll be working in. How will this impact my role to be able to, successfully execute and bring my role into what you're doing, right? How can I contribute to what you're doing? How can I help you to be successful in what you just launched? So that those direct connect questions, that comes from you doing your research, you learning about the company, and you just being really relentless about understanding that company and that job. So when they ask you, why do you want this job? You definitely want to mention things that you have read during your research and preparation about the company that aligns with your passion, that aligns with your strengths, that align with your skill set, and also your experience, right? You want to make sure that you're making those intersections, speaking very significantly and clear to those transferable skills so that they clearly understand how your skills in a different industry or a different role or a different company, how you'll be able to transfer that skill knowledge and execute successfully in this role at this company. And you always there's not enough examples that you can use, and that comes from your practice, right? So when they say, why do you want this job? It's not because I need a job because I have to pay my bills, right? They want to know, why did you select this particular job out of all the jobs that was posted to apply for this role, right? They've already reviewed your resume. They see the connections. They see your potential. You were selected from thousands of hundreds of candidates that applied. So you're already set apart and unique. So go and own that you have made it that far, that they selected your resume, that usually there's a initial phone interview, and use that first interview, whether it's phone or virtual or on site, to really show that you belong there and that they need you there and that you can really deliver and execute successfully. That's what they want to hear from that question. And then the other question is, why should we hire you? You just can't say because I'm amazing. And I'm sure everyone thinks they are amazing, as you should. And you can't say that I've done this before and I can definitely do it again. That storytelling is so important. Storytelling is not only important for your interview, storytelling is great when you're in a meeting and you're sharing your updates, or if you're talking to a client and you would like to expand your relationship and what else you can bring to the table, what additional skills that you have. Storytelling is just really important throughout your life. And you should really get your own story down and how you tell your story and how you really always highlighting your strengths, skills, and abilities and experience and education. So when they ask you, why should we hire you? I always have like a sales pitch. I think of myself as I am the number one product. I am the CEO of myself, my own company, of me, and I'm selling all of my attributes, all of my knowledge. I'm showing you in that interview my abilities. Now, sometimes when you have an interview, they'll tell you, we want you to do a presentation. And they won't give you a topic, but you just use what you have. You're interviewing for the job, the title, the job description. So you want to make sure that if they ask for a presentation, that it's aligned with that role, with that department, and it's benefiting the company, and it's helping to achieve the goals. If they didn't ask you for a sales pitch, I always just prepare a pitch to show what value I can bring to that organization. I've been doing my research, and if I was hired in this role, these are some things that I can execute to bring to value to the department and to the team, right? So I'm not even hired, but I'm showing you, if you hire me, these are some ideas that I have, right? Or you can even look at some of the things that they're doing, and you can show how to elevate those things, right? You're all in the interview. They really want to see, if we hire you and you work here, how are you going to meet these deliverables? How are you going to achieve these goals? And hopefully you'll come in and get acclimated and exceed their expectations. So start during the interview process to exceed their expectations, right? They didn't ask for a presentation, but that's great if you bring one so that they can see your presentation abilities, right? There are a lot of roles out there. Now, some do require sales experience, some do require, presentations and marketing, but you should be able to open up a PowerPoint document and start, with the research that you conducted and with the job description and with your resume, really be able to put a concise and direct targeted pitch for the hiring managers that's interviewing you, to let them know how you, because a lot of times when you're interviewing with people, it's the people in the company that you're going to partner with. It's the people in the company that you're going to be doing work for. So these are your business partners, and you should be able to let them know and customize each sales pitch, right? Because you usually have the first round interview, that's usually with the recruiter. The second round interview could be with immediate team members. That third round interview could be with some executives or internal business partners. And then that final interview could be with that hiring manager. And then sometimes they'll have you interview with the C-suite executives based off of the level of role that you're interviewing for. But definitely for the mid and executive level, that last interview is definitely going to be with the C-suite. So you start building up that sales pitch and customize it for each level interview that you're on. You can't just do the same sales pitch for each interview. And then that sales pitch is really telling your story, and it's letting them know, this is why you should hire me. This is what I bring to the table. This is the value that I'll add to this department, to this team, or to this division. That's what you want to show. And I said it at the beginning, and I'll say it all the way through. Conduct your research and customize your answers, right? So this was just kind of a broad scope. And what I really want you to get comfortable with is, preparing for your interview. Turn your phone on, turn on the video, and start asking yourself, these questions and answering them back, and doing research on, okay, if this is a behavioral interview question, then what are they looking for? If this is a situational interview question, then what are they looking for? So you need to know, what are the type of interview questions and what is the best way to answer them. And that will really help your comfort level. When you prepare and you conduct your research, you feel so much more comfortable and confident in that interview, that it takes a lot of that anxiety away, right? That preparation, just remove that anxiety and just fill it with preparation. And it's a true thing. Stress and anxiety can really take you out of your comfort zone. So, and I've been in interviews, interviewing people, and they just went blank, like literally could not remember, some of the successful things they've executed, and they just drew a blank. So don't wait for your nerves to get you to a place where the stresses just overwhelm you and you can't even focus or concentrate or remember. So what I'll do is I'll customize my resume, and I'll like throughout certain tasks that I have executed on my resume, I'll add those questions to it. So how were you able to do XYZ? And I'll look down at my notes and I say, well, when I worked at this company, I was able to do this. And I see here in this job description that you're asking for this. And with my transferable skills, I can do XYZ. And I would have highlights and notes throughout my resume. Also, when I'm doing company research, I would also have little notes and highlights on the company research on some things that directly connect to the job that I've done. So these are all the things that you can prepare for in advance. And when you're preparing for those things and anticipating those things, then whether your nerves get the best of you or you draw a blank and you're trying to remember, then you just make sure that everything is documented there and just refer to your notes. You do your research for a reason. So make sure that you're able to go directly to those things that you need, right? So that's why I would have the notes under under the task that I executed in my resume so that I can expound on those things, right? Because you always want to be prepared for the worst, but to set yourself up for the best experience. And those are my interview questions and recommended responses. So now, what do most people that come to career chats, what do they want to know? They want to know, what jobs do you have, right? So I am a job seeker. I'm coming to your career chat so that you gave me some great interview tips. Now, what jobs do you have for me to interview for? So for our SourceAbled candidates with autism, neurodivergence, and disabilities, I just pulled a few of our jobs. We have a lot. When you go to sourceable.com, you will see a lot of jobs there. And I encourage anyone to these chats, or if you view the chat, you're welcome to go to apply for the job. But I also want you to email Roshaunda@rangham.com, and you can send me your resume and say, hey, I just applied for this job, and I will review your resume, reach out, have an informational interview with you. If you would like to have your job coach or your career coach or your support or service provider or caregiver to join the interview with you, then that will be fine. I just want to make sure that you're comfortable, that you're confident, and you have everything that you need to succeed. So here are some of our jobs. So I pulled some of our IT jobs, and in those locations, we have a bunch of IT jobs. We have some remote. We have some in Houston, Texas, O'Fallon, Missouri, Parsippany, New Jersey, Brooklyn, New York, and Illinois. We have a lot of warehouse jobs. We'll usually have anywhere from 8 to 10 warehouse jobs in Middletown and Mechanicsburg. We have some financial jobs in Elgin, Illinois, Bellevue, Michigan, New Jersey, and Richmond, Virginia. We have some clinical and pharmaceutical jobs in Andover, Massachusetts, California, in Connecticut, and Illinois, and in New York. And I called out a few cities, but we still, like in New York, it's so many different locations that we have jobs. So I just don't want to narrow it down to a few cities. So I had to catch myself because I was getting like too laser focused in one location when we have a lot of jobs in several locations in some of the states that I listed. We have some business operation jobs in Illinois and New York and Massachusetts and Pennsylvania and Michigan and Virginia. So just to give you guys a high level scope of these locations. So what I went a little deeper and I pulled some of the job descriptions and some of the job titles. So one IT remote job that I pulled was a business intelligence ETL technical subject matter expert. So for this job, the main focus is to you review and validate the technical design for business applications provided by the supplier. We have a remote data scientist job. So the focus will be data wrangling, cluster analysis, shift variation analysis, gap analysis for multiple customers. Both of these jobs are 100% remote. And the business intelligence job, business intelligence ETL technical subject matter expert, is a direct hire role. So we do have some contract jobs, and then we also have some direct hire. Some of our contract jobs are contract to hire. So in our warehouse jobs in Middletown and Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, one of the jobs I pulled is an assembler job. So you must have experience assembling, boxing, and lifting. And we always have a lot of those roles. So another role I pulled, we have some project coordinator and project manager jobs. And these jobs are in Connecticut, New York, and Pennsylvania. So the scope of both of these jobs were similar, just different tier levels, but the focus is to develop project plans, track deliverables and budget, support data, analytics, and process flow mapping. And I also pulled a data entry specialist job. We have these jobs in Illinois and in Massachusetts. And you're responsible for data keying and expected to maintain high levels of productivity and accuracy daily. So I know that they want at least 8,000 keystrokes per hour. So a lot of times you can go and Google free, typing or 10 key test and get and test yourself. But what we'll do for these jobs is we'll send you an assessment so that we can see what your score is. But it never hurts to go out there and practice and just to see where you are. Because some people, when I'm interviewing for that job, sometimes they've never been tested. So that's a good opportunity to see where you are. We have a lab technician jobs. We have this in Illinois and California. And the focus is to adhere to the SOPs, CGMP, plant safety, quality, and documentation system requirements. So if you're a lab tech, then those acronyms should be very familiar to you. And if you don't know what they are, then Google them and then research. And you may have some transferable skills where you worked in a lab before and you were able to execute those things, and maybe you called them something different. But do your research so that you know exactly what those acronyms mean to prepare for your interview. We have a quality assurance role in Virginia. And for this job, you're going to perform procedural activities within the global documentation management system. And we have a business system analyst role in Michigan and in Pennsylvania. And for these roles, what you're going to do is you're going to support deployment of manufacturing, lab systems, and other production support solutions. So these were just a few of the jobs that we have available. But I just think it's great. You're on a career chat and you're looking for a job. So why wouldn't I provide you with jobs in those locations that we have, availabilities, right? That just encourages you to want to go to SourceAbled and to set up your candidate profile and see what we have. So if you have any questions about this session today, you can email Roshaunda@Wrangham.com. You can connect with me. I'm on all the social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Clubhouse. And this session will be shared on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and we'll have this video shared on YouTube. So you'll be able to view it and also share with others. So hopefully I provide you some helpful advice that will prepare you to be successful in your next job interview. Have a great day.